I don't get it.
Hi, I'm Tom Savini, and you're about to watch Terror Reels.
The best thing out of Pittsburgh since Clemente with the Pirates.
After a long time off, I'm Steel City Dahmer, and Terror Reels is back, baby. And I wanted to have a fun with this first episode back, so we're gonna follow an all-American family with mother, Beverly, played by Kathleen Turner, the voice of Jessica Rabbit, who could have rivaled Miss Cleaver in Mother of the Year, except for, you know, her insatiable love for the dead. Kathleen Turner really shines in this movie. The pep in her step, her facial expressions, the way she speaks, she absolutely kills her role. Her whole family is very well put together. The dad is played by Law & Order homeboy, Sam Watterson, who's just clueless with every fucking thing until he gets slapped in the face with a tape from Ted Bundy. The son is played by everyone's Scream and Hackers favorite, Matthew Lillard, and is a first appearance on the big screen, and it kind of points him in the direction of the majority of his career. He's even a huge horror mark in this movie. And the daughter is fucking Ricki Lake. If you went around in the 90s, you might not know about the lowbrow trash fire daytime TV, especially with talk shows. Ricki Lake was a host of her own pretty trash fire show, simply named Ricki Lake. Don't let that fuck her up in this movie for you though. She's pretty rad in this movie, and all she wants is some dick. Anyways, let's kick off the Terror Reel return with some laughs and this fun horror comedy that follows what suburban moms really do in their spare time in this 1994 John Waters written and directed Serial Mom. We open this movie in a nice suburban home on a quiet morning. Well, quiet until the trash collectors come. Beverly tosses them a wave and goes back to being the picture-perfect mother for her family. They do the typical back and forth breakfast chit-chat.
Hillside Strangler gets his college degree in prison.
That's not good.
Chip, played by Matthew Lillard, is pretty fucking stoked on the death penalty. He just wants to see something die, as that was the dramatic stereotype for people who loved horror movies back in the 90s. Beverly is fixed on this fly buzzing around the dining room until she kills it, which kicks off her first taste of death in this movie, even though it's a dumbass fly. The cops decide to stop by to see if anyone in the house could help with these obscene phone calls and cut out letters.
I should warn you, this note contains language.
Oh my.
Chip's best friend Scotty, played by Justin Whalen, who also played Andy Barkley in Chucky Goes to the Army, Child's Play 3. He pulls up to gather Chip for school. Beverly's a fucking snitch though, and tries to get Scotty wrapped up first thing in the morning.
Here's something you should be interested in. A grown boy who doesn't wear his seatbelts.
I like how this is a big bugaboo for her throughout this entire movie. Killing people with a lamb leg is cool, but wear your fucking seatbelt. Anyways, we cut back to Beverly's favorite pastime before murder.
Is this the cocksucker residence?
God damn you, stop calling here.
Isn't this 4215 Pussy Way?
You bitch!
Now let me check the zip code. 212, fuck you.
Ha! She got jokes. It's the little things like that laugh that really helps immerse me into her character. She even calls back and gets that dumb Dottie twice. But this time, her old friend Rosemary is there and overhears it, but she keeps it to herself for now. As Rosemary opens the door, Beverly kicks right back into the picture-perfect suburban mom, which is something we'll see her do throughout this whole movie, and the transition from back and forth to crazy to perfect is seamless. Anyways, Beverly pulls up to the high school because Mr. Stubbins doesn't like that her son is obsessed with horror. She stands up for him though.
Mr. Stubbins, we are a loving and supportive family.
Well, you're doing something wrong, Mrs. Sutphin. I'd recommend therapy for your son.
As Beverly leaves the school, she sees that bastard Mr. Stubbins and is going to teach him a lesson about doubting her mother skills. The only person who saw this murder was some stoner girl, and since it's the mid-90s, she is 100% uncredible just because she smoked a joint while watching a murder. Back at the house, the three amigos are chilling in bed, but Scotty just wants to see some titties, and since he can't handle the gore, he runs up to puke his brains out. But we find Beverly on the other side of the door with cookies.
Look how fake that looks.
Oh, you kids. Here, have a cookie and run on home.
Even though she killed a motherfucker for talking shit, she still rubs what Mr. Stubbins said about horror in her son's face. She gives him some motherly advice, and then...
Ooh, could we watch that scene again? You know the one where he rips her heart out? Please?
At dinner, Missy, played by Ricki Lake, is giving some motherly advice on boys, before Rosemary rushes over to tell them Mr. Stubens has been murdered. Beverly just sits there and cracks jokes with a little twinkle in her eye. I love this lady. I guess all the murders she's been reading about serial killers has really got Beverly's juices flowing because she wants to fuck. She wants to fuck so badly that the slightest touch of her, whole house hearing her. The next day, Beverly's just watching some birds before she notices her neighbor snitching on her, which probably won't bode well for her later in this movie. As Beverly wanders around her house wondering what the fuck the cops are doing, we hear that Misty's love interest stood her up. But she don't care for too long, because the second the two cops come in, she's drooling all over the younger one. But that dude will pay for standing her up. Pay, I tell you! The cops are here this time just to ask her about the murder, since she's the only blue Volvo in the area. And just like last time, Scotty pulls up and Beverly snitches on him for not wearing a seatbelt again. The dad is pissed off this time about the accusations and kicks the cops out of the house. But they do find the magazine with the letter P cut out. P for pussy, like in the letter. But the address on the magazine is to her nosy neighbor. After the police leave, we see Rosemary fucking wilding out with her garbage and recycling. Just throwing shit everywhere. Beverly was gonna kill her, but she decides to get the trash guys on her good side and gives them a few mini bottles of booze in her separated trash, which they appreciate.
I hate Mrs. Ackerman.
I hate her too. I hate her guts. You know, somebody ought to kill her.
Later, to replace a shattered Franklin Mint Fabergé egg, Beverly, Rosemary, and Misty all go to the local swap meet. Beverly sees the dude Misty was crying earlier at breakfast, and he's with another girl. She ain't gonna let no man fuck with her daughter like that. She grabs the fire poker Rosemary brought and follows him into the bathroom, where it's just them two. Oh, this perverted dude is just writing funny shit on the bathroom stalls and mans the glory hole. Is that homeboy's liver? That's pretty rad. And she almost eats shit slipping on it. She flushes that dummy's head in the toilet. Obviously, somebody's gonna find this. I'm surprised nobody interrupted her murdering this dude, except for the guy who jets out as soon as she walks in. We get the most hilarious, overdubbed, not actually this guy screaming scream I've ever heard. While everyone is freaking out about the murder, the glory hole guy gets arrested, and Rosemary notices some shit on Beverly's shoe. I love how they zipped up the body bag in front of everyone just to be dicks. Couldn't they just zip up past the dead man's face in the bathroom and not an entire warehouse full of people? Probably, but this is way funnier. After, the cops stop by and talk to the dad about the human hunting books his wife has bought. He goes home and starts snooping around and finds a treasure trove of serial killer shit. Letters from inmates, a strongman picture of Richard Speck, and even had a tape from Ted Bundy.
Beverly, it's me, Ted Bundy. It's late at night, 6 days before my execution, and it's lonely here on death row.
That's pretty fucking rad, but the husband doesn't think so. As he spurgs out all over the radio, he turns to the news where he hears someone in their quiet town has been murdered, and he's kind of putting pieces together that his wife might be a serial killer. Misty collaborates this.
Chip, our mother is Charles Manson.
Later at dinner, everyone's a little bit on edge, thinking that their perfectly sweet old Beverly is a murderer. But all of her friends are dropping a dime on Beverly.
Not exactly blood. It was gore, hanging there like a runny nose.
It's not blood, it's gore. I fucking love that line. Chip mentions that Scotty thinks she might be the killer, so she immediately hops up from the dinner table and drives off to kill Scotty.
Mom's gone crazy.
Your mother may have some problems, that's all. Come on, hurry.
Yeah, no shit. While driving to Scotty's house, she gets sidetracked by police trying to pull her over. She cuts through 1 yard and the cops just give up chase. I guess the cops scared her a little bit because she goes to a different house. The house of one of the dad's dental clients, and hear them talking shit on Pops. His wife goes upstairs to get ready to fuck, but she sees a mouse in her closet, but she also finds... The rest of the family went to Scott's and barged in on him, jerking off to some weird mid-90s porn. Holy fuck, my guy, you're literally gonna pull your dick off jerking it like that. Back at the other house, the husband tries to escape, but gets a pretty whatever lame-ass death.
Help me, somebody! Help me!
And Beverly makes it home before the rest of the family. They think they've overblown everything, and this has just been one big misunderstanding, until they leave to go to church the next morning. And one by one, this entire state's police department just follows the family to church. I love the conversation they have in the car. Everyone's trying to be deep and loving, and Beverly's just laughing at all their dumb shit.
Are you a serial killer?
Chip, the only cereal I know anything about is Rice Krispies.
Obviously, everyone in the church knows the deal with Beverly, and all start staring and gawking at her, scared as fuck. The cops get the green light with the matching prints with the fire poker and move in, until Beverly fucking sneezes on the baby, and everybody loses their fucking mind. Why did the guardsman punch out the dad? Beverly also looked a little bit turned on by watching her husband get punched out. Chip and his girlfriend scoop up Beverly and get her the fuck out of Dodge in Scotty's car and hide her in the back room of this video rental store that Chip works at. I love this movie rental store based all around horror. I've always wanted to own a single screen movie theater that has horror events and dope shit for the community. Anywho, well, this lady who hates rewinding movies comes to drop off some tapes and grabs some musical Annie while talking her shit.
Haven't you had enough violence, Chip Sutphin? Turn that filth off.
They might have, but Beverly sure hasn't. Beverly won't stand for anyone talking shit on her family.
Keep the change, you son of a psycho.
So she dips out of the back room and goes after this grandma fuck. And after watching her make her dog lick her feet and get extra slobbery, I wouldn't mind watching this lady get murdered either. As she belts out the tunes from the Annie musical, Beverly strolls in her house and grabs a knife as her son and girlfriend are trying to see what's going on. While they scramble to see what's going on, Beverly was going to kill this old lady with a butcher knife. But she is all about the theatrics and decides that a knife just won't do and grabs a fucking leg of lamb. But not before getting his dog a little treat. Chip's girlfriend misses this murder, but you know who didn't? Scotty, because he was watching the entire time from the garage roof. Beverly's little oh bet face kills me every time. This time, she decides the knife will work and begins to chase after Scotty. While Chip and his girlfriend are curious where Beverly went, they finally see the dead lady being dead, and they also see Scotty barreling down the street with Beverly screaming after her in a van. Why did this driver get out of the van? Beverly just went up to his window with a knife. He could have just kept driving and been fine. Chip and his girlfriend run into his dad and sister, and they all chase after Beverly. They go straight to this 90s punk show where all the members are wearing camel toe codpiece. I love how everyone in this concert knows and loves Beverly.
Hey, you're cereal mom.
Yes, I guess I am.
Come on in, lady, quick.
She eventually finds Scotty on stage and cuts the stage lights down on him. Okay, we've seen that a million times. Then she pulls out a lighter and some hairspray and lights him on fire. He's dancing around the stage and the crowd's going nuts. I'd be too if I saw a murder on stage at a clown show or something. He's almost fully not on fire anymore, but one of the ladies in the band spits some booze on him and he goes up again. Almost made it, Scotty. Well, the cops arrest her and the crowd goes nuts. If they're really down with her, you think someone would have punched the cop in the mouth. You think someone get arrested inside a juggalo show would go unpunched? Doubtful. The family gets to this concert just in time to see a murder and see their mom getting arrested. Next few days should be pretty interesting with the courts in her trial.
Please just let us through. Your wife's innocence, Mr. Sutphin? Please. How's it feel to have a killer mom?
Of course it's a media frenzy. If you haven't noticed that the real life serial killer trend yet, this is based on the media frenzy that was around the real life serial killers such as Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, Richard Ramirez. Shit, she even fires her lawyer and decides to represent her life like Ted Bundy did in Florida. Along with people out front selling merchandise like they did when Ted Bundy got the electric chair. Everybody involved is pretty fucking stoked on making a pretty penny in this trial. Even before all that though, Barely seems like regular old Chip herself, even when staring at the death penalty.
A pair of scissors, a toppled air conditioner, the lethal flames from an aerosol can, and yes, even a leg of lamb.
Ah, good old mass murdering Beverly. For a crazy person like Beverly, she makes a pretty good lawyer. She makes every witness that the prosecutor had look fucking stupid. The stoner girl couldn't stop giggling. The one lady had a foul mouth so no one would fucking believe her for whatever reason. The cop had tranny porn so he couldn't use the books he found as proof or anything. The glory hole guy almost gets to see up Beverly's dress, so he busts in his pants and said that he just said whatever the cops wanted to hear. She even made it look like Rosemary killed all those people. Plus, she doesn't recycle, so she could be a fucking monster. Eventually, she wins her first trial, and you know what? Good on her.
We find the defendant not guilty of all charges.
Beverly really doesn't seem that concerned with being found innocent on all charges. Also known as a bitch who is wearing white shoes after Labor Day. She's been emotionally fucked up by this lady this entire trial. While leaving the courtroom and being hound dogged by the press and fucking Suzanne Summers, Beverly skirts away from everyone to find juror number 8 in a payphone lobby. Well, she's gonna pay for her white shoe wearing sins.
Fashion has changed.
No, it hasn't.
Beverly jumps back in the media frenzy, but kind of needs to get the fuck out of there since, you know, she just murdered this lady. But Suzanne Summers is being kind of a needy bitch, and Beverly isn't having it.
Smile, cereal mom.
Suzanne Summers, this is my bad side.
What a fun movie this was. Part of me has a hard time calling this a horror movie since it has the campiness and the feel of something like Cousin Vinny, but with more blood.
Not exactly blood. It was gore.
Yeah, fuck off, lady. This is a movie you definitely don't want to sleep on, especially if you want to have a good, wholesome time while watching people get murdered. The cast makes every character unique, believable, and relatable. They make you love and root for Beverly as she murders her ways through people who disrespected her family in some way. And who could stand behind that? Why or why not in the comments? Thanks for watching the return episode of Terror Reels. We're coming back every Friday night, right before Brooklyn's II Arcade. Boot the pants right off your bitch ass before bedtime. I hope you dug this episode, and I have a wild amount of videos ready to drop, so make sure you stick around this motherfucker.
Terror Reels, Terror Reels. It's real, real terror. Real, R-E-E-L, R-E-A-L. Terror Reels. Terror Reels. Hey, dog will hunt. Get that bitch. You dented my plate. My brain is burning. Terror Reels. Goodbye.